of it. And I also want to address, I've got a bit of feedback about some issues that are affecting students, and I think maybe adopting a policy for the library for use of desks and, you know, commerce students coming in. This is something that I've heard a lot about from law students, and they want something to be done about it. So I think looking for a library policy would be something I'd kind of look into.
Yeah, through either equity or socials, I would like to implement a volunteer network which everyone could get involved with, and it wouldn't have to be limited to any sort of specific sub-portfolio like Indigenous or queer, to give all the students an opportunity to be involved in the community and give LawSoc a bit of a presence in, like, beyond the boundaries of the campus. And I'd also like to bring like pertinent social justice issues in as a focus to our events. Like, I don't see why they have to be all completely inwardly focused and all about ourselves. So that's my 2 cents.
Hi, my whole thing is about expanding the pie, so making our resources do more for us. So I think one thing that I'm going to look into is just reviewing our existing paths of resources and see where we can maybe cut off things that are inefficient and just not helping students, and putting them into more sort of useful areas that students want. So listening really to students' need. And again, like the 3 people previous to me have said, making it more sort of attainable to other people and making it less about socials and more into other portfolios, so careers, services and things like that. Just sort of promoting more of that and just sort of taking less of the focus from us being partying, but more towards helping the students further the career and their studies. So putting resources into that.
As Careers VP, I want to ensure that students have more direct access to firms that they want to contact. So the Careers portfolio did a really good job this year with creating the Twilight Drinks event, where people could liaise directly with the relevant people at firms. I want to expand this by actually including alternative and government careers at these kind of events, and make sure people have direct access to these kind of careers that they want to have, and open up more paths for them, and create more alternative government careers presentations, not just continual court presentation after court presentation.
Hi everyone. Firstly, I just wanted to congratulate you all on running in the elections. I thought your candidate statements were all great. I do have 2 specific questions directed at some candidates as a result of reading those candidate statements. The first one is to David Louis, who's running for education. I suppose what I want to know is how you'll be able to balance your role as Education VP as well as being ALSA Comps Director, given how time-consuming both roles are.
ALSA Logistics Director.
Sorry, that's the one.
So the thing about logistics, I don't know if any of you have been ever involved in that sort of position. You don't actually have to do much till the conference draws nearer. I've successfully been able to balance before a part-time job, pretty much taking up every hour of the week that I wasn't at uni, and also running for 2 years as an organising committee on ISEC conferences before. It's not really a problem for me to balance this sort of thing.
Yeah, my second question is to Chen, who's running for Treasurer. How would you plan to remove yourself from any conflicts with funding for Law MSN as Treasurer, given your role as Law MSN Coordinator for 2011?
Law MSN has a constitutional grant which cannot be changed, and I guess I would only give what they've been given in the past few years, and it can't be changed in any respect. So I don't think there is a conflict in the Treasurer position.
Thank you.
I've got a question also on grants. This is to Angelo Quintominus. As President of Debating Society this year, you put forward a proposal to the Law Society Cabinet to consider about whether we should help fund the Debating Society this year in a one-off grant or in the future. Regardless of what this year's Cabinet decides, next year, will you be putting forward that proposal again? And if it does come for consideration, will you be declaring a conflict of interest and abstaining from that vote?
I obviously would abstain from being involved in part of that decision. I recognise that I have bias, or there would be a perception of bias if I became involved in that. However, I don't think that that should be something that would limit me or other people from wanting to become involved. And I think that my experience with ARC and within the Debating Society and other volunteer programs brings a new perspective to the Law Society, and that's something. So I would really encourage people, even if perhaps there might be a bias that they have, they should
enter that and become involved, and then when it's relevant to isolate yourself in a particular instance,